Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Gita Marie, and since my last reverse haul, the content niche of underconsumption has gone viral, which I absolutely thoroughly love to see. A lot of people are talking about the things that they're not buying, the things that they haven't bought in ages, the things that they are using even though it's worn down and used, and things that they've just had for a really long time. This is the time to be alive. And in many ways, this is a very rational reaction, a very human reaction, I would say, to overconsumption, to constantly being bombarded with marketing and ads and trends and micro trends and hype. I think it speaks to a collective mental state that so many of us are drawn towards the alternative, not buying, using what we already have, even if what we have is kind of shitty, which is sort of the epitome of underconsumption, I think. A lot of the TikToks I've seen, a lot of the reels on Instagram I've seen about underconsumption is like people using things that are like halfway broken. So before the term underconsumption started to go viral, I have done anti-hauls, which are things that I won't be buying. And then I've done reverse hauls, meaning things that I've had for a really, really long time. So I thought I wanted to continue down this path today. If you want to watch my first reverse haul, it's about heirlooms specifically, like old things with a lot of meaning. And today's video is going to be things that I've had for a long time that I keep fixing, sort of the more unaesthetic things that I've owned for a long time that we should be celebrating as a counter movement to overconsumption. So let's get started on this reverse haul slash underconsumption haul video. Okay, I resonate so much with using things that are kind of halfway broken because I have lived my entire life using things that are okay, that are working just fine, and this is one of them. So this is a hair clip that I love. I got this on a secondhand site because I saw a lot of like the fashion girlies wearing like these clips with the flower, and I think it looks so nice and I put it in my hair. I love it. But I don't know if you can see. You can see. This is so dark, but it's missing teeth here, here, here. Okay, so 4 on one side and 3 on the other side. I still use this. It doesn't hold up all my hair, so often I'll need to use like a little bun and then I can place it in, but it's still really decorative, and I'm gonna use this until there is no teeth left. Throwing this away would make absolutely no sense to me. Also, even though this was secondhand, I think I still paid like 10 quid for it, because it's like some kind of thing, I don't know. I'm gonna use this until it completely falls apart. It's a really difficult thing to repair, however, so I haven't ventured into that. But if you've ever repaired a hair clip, let me know how you did that and if it holds up specifically. So many people throw out things that are broken that are not really broken. I wouldn't categorize this as broken because it still fulfills its purpose. It's still functional. I was once gifted a dress from a family member. She said that if I could use the dress, I could have it, but it was broken, so she wouldn't use it anymore. It was missing a button. It was missing a button. That is the exact mentality that I feel like we're trying to fight with underconsumption. So, first of all, yeehaw! And moving into a little bit of a different territory, but I cannot not bring up my food processor. So, I always wanted a food processor. I haven't always had one, and I didn't go out and buy one. Would it have been easy enough to buy a secondhand food processor? Absolutely. I don't know why I didn't. I have 2 now. I also have another more modern secondhand one, but I still love to use this. This is from the 80s. This is specifically an heirloom, a friend of the family who passed away, and I got most of the things in her kitchen. And I use this so often, and I always think of her. It's so old, and I can't blend liquids in this because there's a rift or a crack in this. But if it's solids or like it's more solid, I can easily use it. I love the sort of 80s plastic that's been white once and now it's sort of yellowed, like darkened a little bit because it's old. I will use this until it completely breaks down because it sort of reminds me of her as well. I love it. This is a fairly easy underconsumption action, and I think a lot of people are doing this, especially in the zero waste sustainability community. Anyway, I think it deserves some praise. And it's simply using jam jars as glasses. Not eyeglasses, but drinking glasses, just to specify. I don't know if that specification was necessary, it probably wasn't. But a solid glass like this, I love to use that to drink out of. I use it for beverages, both when I'm just by myself, but it's even better if like you're throwing a party and don't want anyone to break your glass. I bring out my food storage containers. I usually use this for leftovers as well. And if someone breaks something, these are more sturdy, by the way, than crystal, but I'm also not as saddened by the loss of this. I'll just recycle the pieces, or you can put it back together if that's your jam. But jam jars, pun intended, as drinking glasses, and as leftover containers. It's basically a free kitchen tool that you get with your jam. So I was staying in the kitchen for a while, but I cannot not talk about this spoon. This spoon, I've had this spoon for I think 10 years. I thrifted it, so it's been around for a while. And this is my preferred spoon. It's not so much a spoon as it's just like a stick that's a little wider on the end, because as you see, it doesn't have any ladle related functionality. This is my best stirring spoon. I always gravitate towards this, and I will be thoroughly sad when this doesn't work anymore, if it breaks, if something happens to it, because I love it. You can see how much wear and tear has happened to this spoon. I love that it's also asymmetrical, which sort of means that it's been like a lot bigger, and then it's just worn down over time. Some by me, but also by the people that used this before it was donated to the thrift shop. To me, this spoon symbolizes the fact that you don't need a lot of fancy stuff to make really, really good food. Now, different territory. So first of all, I cannot not talk about the handkerchiefs. So this is peak underconsumption core. You can find these in thrift shops sometimes. I got these are heirlooms, and I use these, yeah, to blow my nose. They are so pretty. My grandmother made these and she has used them. My grandfather has used them. I'm sure tons of people have used these. I absolutely love them. Look, it's just like the craft that's gone into making these. I can simply not just have them lie in a drawer. I have to use them. And this is underconsumption at its peak. It's beautiful, it's crafty, it lasts a long time, it shows that you care, and it's also better for the environment. What more do you need? And if you're wondering if it really makes sense to substitute a disposable paper tissue with cotton, I would say yes and no. No, if you're buying new cotton napkins and new cotton handkerchiefs made from new cotton, this would not be something I would recommend. But if you find secondhand vintage handkerchiefs that's already been produced, that's already in the waste stream, that's already in our consumer cycle, it absolutely makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. If this is something that brings you joy, go for it. But don't buy them from new. Actually, the impact of making the cotton requires more water than it does to make the tissue for the paper. Old always. I would like to give a shout out to a thing that I've had for a really long time, and this is actually a fast fashion item. I got this in high school, and it's a sports bra. It's from Nike. Never support Nike. I would never buy this now, but I have had this since high school and I still use it. Moving on to a pair of shoes that I knew when I got them secondhand that they would require some keeping up, some maintenance in order for them to keep looking nice, and it's my white cowboy boots. Now, because it's a white boot in a synthetic leather material, this is going to just like fall apart at some point. And you can see that it's a shoe that lives a full life, but so does the heel. The heel looks like this. So sometimes when I get a crack or like any kind of damage done to it, I'll just take in my pen and I'll just fill it. Then the lighter gray or brown underneath will be covered, and this is so much easier than buying new shoes. It works so well every time. I also have a shoe with a black heel where it's sort of like white underneath almost, and then this also works like a charm. We fill them in, we don't throw them out. Say it with me. Now here's a tip I've mentioned a few times before, but I will never let it go because I honestly think this is genius. I don't know about you. So whenever I have like small sewing projects, whenever I have any kind of clothing, fabric, textile that I am sort of inclined to throw away, I don't. I get a lot of people that ask how you dispose of textiles and clothing, and the good answer, which is also the frustrating answer, is that there isn't really a good way of disposing of clothing, because all clothing basically contains some kind of synthetic fabric, that being like the stitching, any kind of like small synthetic fabric. So it's very unlikely that it will ever decompose in a compost. And we don't really have proper infrastructure to recycle textiles because we have so much of it, and the sheer volume makes it very difficult to do efficiently. So I suggest that you use your discarded clothes, your old clothes, your worn down clothes as much as you can in your house, using it as cloth, cutting it up into pieces, using it for patches, sewing projects, any kind of thing that you can think of where you can use those fabrics is better than throwing them in the garbage or in the textile recycling, because it doesn't really work. And one of the things that I do, because I'm not very nifty sewing wise, so I can't take old clothes and make them new. Sorry, I just can't. But I take a pillow and then I cut my textiles up into small trimmings and I stuff them in the pillow casing. I do this because loads of pillows today have synthetic fibers as stuffing, and over time they just get less fluffy. They just lose a lot of volume over time, and you can refluff them, but to some extent, like, they'll always just like, also because a lot of the synthetic small filling gets out, and when it does, it's polyester, so it will become microplastic. Let's not talk about that. That's a whole other can of worms. Anyway, I refluff my pillows by putting my old clothes into them, and you can't feel a difference. That means that I don't have to worry about my clothes not getting recycled, and I get fluffy pillows. Okay, so I don't think I'll ever get tired of talking about my Grin shopper. Sometimes you just love something so much. I would never stop using this if I can help it. So this is the Grin shopper. Full transparency, this was gifted by the company. I got this back in 2018, 2019. It's a long time ago. It's made from safety belts and other waste materials. I love this. And I've used this for so long that it's coming undone. So, and honestly, I think this is very easy to repair. I just haven't really gotten around to it because I need another kind of needle and thread to do this, I think. So usually it's attached all the way up here, but the stitching is coming undone because I'm using it so much. That's what 6 years of wear will do to a bag. I have been asked to update my look for ages because people are tired of seeing this, and I'm not going to, because this is my look. I love this. I don't even think Grin Bag makes these totes anymore, which I am so sad about, because I would love to recommend so you could have this experience. Looking at the amount of wear and tear there's on this, it's actually even not that bad. We have some threads that's coming undone, so I probably should fix this. Anyway, I can't think of a more anti-consumerism, anti-overconsumption, underconsumption item than this. And the last item I want to talk about is a chair. Specifically a chair in my kitchen that's been just providing a menace-like energy in my kitchen and in my home for almost a decade. 10 years ago or something, I was lucky enough to be able to buy 2 chairs from a crafts classroom, but the creative classroom. So these are chairs that's been soaked in paint, soaked in all kinds of materials. I absolutely love them. There are even still numbers on the back so you can see where it belongs and like who's supposed to sit on it. I think it's so nice. But the chair is coming undone, like my bag and so many other things. So whenever you sit on it, you have to sort of just like press it together, otherwise it comes undone. And it's been like that always, basically. I think it wasn't like that for the first year or so that I had it, but it's been like that for a really, really long time, and I don't care. I love this chair so much. I think the wood has the perfect color. It's a very warm toned wood, and I think it's not the wood, but maybe the finish, the coating that's on it. But I love this chair. But yeah, it has a huge gap on the seat that you sort of have to in order to actually sit on it. But we won't let small cracks, small defects, small flaws affect the way that we use these products, because the whole idea of a sustainable lifestyle is about using the things you already have for as long as possible. A good idea in a sustainable lifestyle is to repair your stuff so they don't break. This is more so a mental note than it is a note to you, but it's also a note to me. But maybe it's a note to you as well. Anyway, I have some things that I definitely need to fix so I can keep using them for years and years, because if we don't fix them, they might break beyond repair. We don't want that. Overall, I really just like this. I hope it's not a trend. I hope it's just like a counter movement against overconsumption. And I love that more and more people are finding joy and appreciation in things that they've had a long time. Typically, we live in a society where new things are praised all the time. We grow up seeing cultural forms of media portraying that buying new things makes you happy. And that cements itself in our brain so that we can't really enjoy things that we've had a long time, or like it's harder to enjoy things that are old that we've already enjoyed. It's easier to enjoy new things. And this is not something that is a biological destiny for any of us. This is not something that is ingrained in our mind in a way that we can't remove it. But it's something that we need to practice. It's something that we need to relearn. And I think maybe Underconsumption core is a really good step in that direction. So let me know in the comments down below if you have any old things that you've worn a million times, things that you have used to death, that you would like to send some extra appreciation. Maybe this is also your sign to go fix some of your old stuff as well. Who knows? It was a sign for me anyway. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you liked it. If you did, leave me a thumbs up. That would make my day, and take really good care of yourselves. Until next time. Bye. Thank you so much for watching this video, and also a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys help me create green, zero waste content, and I love you guys. You can find the links to my social media accounts down below and the link to my Patreon on this screen. Bye!